So Marine Le Pen was sentenced to 4 years of basically house arrest and was barred from running from political office for the next 5 years. She was leading in the polls to beat Macron in the election that's coming up in 2027. What they're accusing of her is ridiculous. They're saying the headline is that she embezzled funds. More specifically, what they're saying that she did is that she was using European Union funds to pay her staffers to do certain projects, which is common practice in Europe and in France. According to what I've read, and I'm not an expert in French politics, but I've read into it a little bit, and this is something that every big politician does in France. So to get Le Pen on something like this is absurd, and obviously this is a bias in the justice system. This was really a political takedown more than anything. We've seen this before. We've seen it here in the United States, what they attempted to do to Trump. They've done this to Georgescu in Romania. And you can see all the mudslinging and everything else. And that's to be expected with the media. Obviously, the media sides with the globalists because they're under the corporations that run a lot of what's going on in globalism. So, obviously this is political in nature. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with 100% of what Le Pen says, but certainly based on her rhetoric, she appears to be a much better candidate than Macron. Certainly, it wouldn't be difficult to be better than Macron because Macron, a lot of things that he's doing is not good for France. And I understand that his poll numbers have been dropping. A lot of people in France don't want to go to war directly with Russia, and that's what Macron is doing. He's sending forces to Ukraine. Macron... there was a controversy years ago, and I forgot the specifics of it. I think it involved immigration, and he lost a lot of popularity as a result of that. Now, years ago, I went out and I said, hey, vote for Le Pen. And she got second place. I mean, she didn't quite win it, but she had a respectable showing. And I was saying, hey, vote for her. Macron, he's got some rhetoric that sounds somewhat populist, but he's a globalist. You know who he is based on his past dealings. So, anyway, more tyranny in Europe. And this is another thing. These people within the establishment left will say that France is a liberal democracy, and essentially they're saying we're defending freedom by defending France against Russia, I suppose. What claim can they make when they're imprisoning and they're incarcerating their political opponents? And there's journalists that have been murdered in the so-called West. How is this better than Russia? Yes, Russia's more open about it, but these people, the globalists, they don't have a moral high ground. The more you look into it, the more that moral high ground actually reverses. Now, I'm not saying Russia's perfect, but Russia has a little more of a high ground over these globalists, certainly. So, anyway, very sad to say what is happening in France right now.